Hey there, my name is Mark and I'm a specialist sexuality coach. I wanted to make this video for anyone who has ever felt that, do you know what, I really don't want to be gay. Or perhaps I don't want to be queer or LGBT. There's a lot of stigma around saying this, and I'm sure that some of you watching at home will have clicked on this video to kind of see what on earth is this guy talking about, And that's understandable as well. It's a really difficult space to be in when we feel like, do you know what, I really don't want to be gay. I wish that I wasn't. But I'm making this video because I support many people who go through this. It's a real thing and a lot of people feel it. And so I want to just explain a few of the reasons why somebody might feel this way. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give some guidance as to what you can do if you are struggling with this so that you can really start to feel better in yourself. This is not defining. This is the place where we talk about those ins and outs, those gray areas, those difficult questions when it comes to sexuality, gender, identity, and so on. And it's really just so that you can better understand yourself with no shame and no judgment and hopefully find your best life. So the first reason why it's really understandable to hate being gay or not want to be gay is because society puts so much fear on it. I think like in certain parts of society, we tend to think, oh, well, it's all fine now. I hear that so much. People are like, oh, it's okay to be gay. And actually, for many people, it's actually really objectively not okay to be gay. In many parts of the world and in many parts of this country, for different reasons, it's actually not okay. People make it not okay. There are so many reasons why someone would fear it, why someone would be really anxious about it, why someone would fear coming out or fear what their sexuality is. So if you're going through that, I want to let you know that you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You don't have to listen to people who say, oh my gosh, it's completely fine. I don't know what you're worrying about. Just come out, just be fine with it. It's okay. You don't have to deal with that. You don't have to listen to that because actually for you, where you are in your life and your journey right now, it might not be okay. Okay? So anyone who doesn't want to be gay, that is understandable. I get you, I see you, and that is absolutely fine. The second thing, which a lot of people come to me actually and say, and this is what I went through as well, because I struggled with this a lot, is that they're actually not homophobic and they're not actually worried about being gay. If they were gay, then they would be absolutely fine with it. But there's just this kind of almost like indirect fear. So on the surface level, people come to me and they say, Mark, I really want to be clear about this. I love LGBT people. I accept gay people. I've got no problem with it whatsoever. But I have this fear and I don't understand why. The reason why this happens is because we have direct fear and indirect fear. So the direct fear is the first thing we talked about. That's like people literally going, do you know what? If I was gay, my life would be really hard. Yeah? Practical, direct impact. But there's also this indirect impact because we've been brought up and conditioned in a society that has taught us to fear being gay or being queer. We have an unresolved trauma inside us, this unresolved subconscious fear that says, oh, I'm really afraid of what that would mean. Yeah, I'm really afraid if that was me. I don't know how to navigate it. I don't know what it would be like. It feels scary, but we don't know why. That's because there is unresolved trauma there. And you can learn to heal that. But just want to say, if you're going through that, if you're like, I really love and accept the LGBT community, but I just have this fear which feels really weird. That's okay as well. Okay? That is okay as well. By the way, if you would like to join us for group sessions, if you would like to chat with me, if you'd like to ask me questions 24/7 and get loads of extra content, then come and join us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/not defining. We would love, love, love to see you there. There should be a link coming up. So the other reason, actually, funnily enough, why you might not want to be gay or fear being gay is because you actually aren't, right? We live in a society where there's kind of like only two options for a lot of people. It's straight or gay. And if you're anything other than straight, then a lot of people will assume that you're gay and they'll kind of put you in that box. But as we know, there are many, many people who are in between. There are many people who are bisexual, pansexual, asexual, different shades of queer, different shades of different things. And it's actually more common to be some shade of bisexual than it is to actually be exclusively gay or exclusively homosexual. And so what happens is, if we realize that we fall somewhere outside of the hetero category, then we fear that, oh my gosh, that means I'm gay. And actually, we don't like that because actually that's not in fitting with what we actually are. We don't want people to make assumptions about us. If we're bi or somewhere on the bi spectrum, if we're a man, for example, we may fear being assumed to be gay because that means that, women are not going to want to date us, or perhaps people will treat us in a particular way. It's very, very valid and it's very, very real. I'm a bi guy. People assume that I'm gay all the time. So if you are worried about being gay or being assumed to be gay, then I just want to let you know that that is understandable, and unfortunately it is something that a lot of us have to deal with. You are not alone. So I just want to share now a suggestion as to what you might be able to do if you are struggling with this. So what I find most of the time with people is that it's not actually the sexuality that they fear. It's actually just a part of you that you've kept in the shadow. And this is perfectly normal. A lot of us do this for different reasons. But there's this part of you that you're kind of afraid to access. Yeah, you're afraid of that part of yourself. You're afraid that it might show. And you're afraid of it because if it does show, the belief is that it's awful, that it's terrible, that you'll be this terrible person, this awful, humiliating, disgusting person, whatever it might be. And the truth of the matter is that that part of you isn't gay, or maybe it is, maybe you are gay, but most of the time that's not what it is. It's not like there's this gay part that, is going to come out. What's actually going to come out is just a part of you, and you can't keep repressing it because that doesn't work. And so what I would suggest is, if you can imagine almost like the version of you that you fear the most, okay? So imagine a worst case scenario, okay? And you might want to draw a picture of yourself, or you might want to write it down like a description. Just visualize that version of you that you absolutely loathe and detest when you think about this issue, right? And whatever you can do to kind of create a distance between you and it, right? You might want to give it a name, yeah? You might want to call it horrible Mark or disgusting Mark, or you may even want to call it gay Mark, or whatever it is. Like I say, draw a picture, describe it, and journal. Anything that you can do to get to know this part of you as like a separate entity give it a name, whatever, and then just feel that separation. And then the next thing to do is to think to yourself, if I was going to love this person, yeah, if I was going to love this version of me, what would I say to it? Yeah, what would it need? How would I treat this horrid version of me? Now, at the beginning, you might get some resistance, like, oh no, I hate that version of me. But in separating yourself from it, what you can do is try to get used to the mindset of treating it with compassion and love. Okay, just try. Imagine it's not you. Imagine it's someone else. It's this separate entity. And try to give it love. Okay? What you are doing there is you are learning to reframe the relationship between you and that part of you that you fear. Now, whatever sexuality you are, whatever your attractions are, whatever your identity is, whatever it is that you find in that part of you, it's okay because you're still in control. So we're not acting on it. We are not letting it kind of show to anybody else. There's an internal practice. But if you can imagine the worst version of yourself, and then just be curious about, okay, if I was going to be compassionate, if I was going to care for this part of myself, what would it need? What would I do? How would I speak to it? How would I treat it? So that's just a suggestion. If you have questions about this or you're going through it, then Not Defining is here for you. Please subscribe, hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you don't miss any videos, because we've got so much content coming out all the time on this. Thank you for listening, and I will speak to you again very, very soon. Bye for now.